going to show you a technique that I like to use to create a background on my images. Here's an example of a background that I've created. It's just a simple example, but as you can kind of tell behind the ladybug, there's a little bit of blue to resemble the sky, and then ladybug's also on the ground, which I just used with a swipe of a marker. But the sky, I feel, adds a lot to an image because it makes the image pop off the page so it doesn't look like a flat white background. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I do that today. So what you're going to need an ink, and my ink of choice is Tim Holtz Distress inks, and I use a couple different ones for the sky. I use Tumbled Glass, and then I also use Broken China, or sometimes I use a combination of the two. But today, since we're for this tutorial, I'm only going to be using the Tumbled Glass because we are going to be creating a water background instead of a sky background. So, which it does work for both. It just kind of depends on what you feel like. The cardstock that I have used is Paper Tray Inks 110-pound cardstock, and then I'm using this mermaid image from the Happy Birthday Mermaid stamp set that is by Your Next Stamp. So as you can see, I stamped her with Memento ink and then colored her with, I just did a quick color with Copics because I'm actually going to add, pop up another image on top of that. So I didn't really care what this image looked like, but when you turn it to the side, sometimes you can see underneath, so I like to have color just in case. You're also going to need to stamp it again to create a mask, and I stamped her on, again, Paper Tray Inks 110-pound cardstock. That way it's more solid, but as you can see, the tail is getting a little loose because she's been used quite often. Then you're going to need some removable adhesive. This is Scrapbook Adhesive's Easy Dots, or repositionable adhesive. I really like this. I feel like it works well. So I have not actually, I'm going to cut this out with Nestability, but what I have found is if I do that first and then go ahead and add the ink, you can see all the little lines that are from my cutting mat, because my cutting mat is pretty old. So I'm going to cut it after I am finished. So I'm just putting this on top. That way the ink does not get on my image. And it wouldn't be such a big deal since this isn't actually, this bottom image isn't really going to show. But if I were not going to pop up a different one on top, then it would really be important to mask your image. So what also I forgot to mention I use to apply the ink is this cheap paintbrush. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it's pack, and it's got really coarse bristles, but it's not the greatest paintbrush in the world, and I someday will probably get a new one that is a little bit softer bristled than this one, but this one does the job. Alright, so using my Tumbled Glass, I'm going to show you how I do this. And with this ink, I found the best way is to swipe the pad. It gets the most, and then I like to dab it as well, just to get enough color. Then I'm going to start on the image, and I'm going to pull off and just do swipes, and it's not going to show up right away. That's when you're going to have to just keep laying it down. I also need to decide where I want my shadow to be. So looking at my image, it looks like most of my shadow is on this side, so I'm going to concentrate a lot of my color onto that side of the image. I'll try and keep my hand out of the way. I am left-handed, so it does become a problem. Remove the ink down here so I don't get in the way when I ink it up. And you can apply as much or as little as you want depending on the look that you like. going to go ahead and peel this off so I can see the final result. The great thing about this is you can add a stick it back on. I see some by her tail. I want to add more there. Careful not to touch it, but I'm just feathering out this because I see a little bit of a few lines and I want it to look more blended, so I'm just being careful. And that looks pretty good. Again, I'm not too worried about this image because she's not going to show. So I could always add more to this side if I decided later, but right now I'm pretty satisfied with it. So that is what she's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut her out with my Nestability and we'll put her on a card. Here is our finished card with our inked background image on the front of it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and are able to use it on your own projects. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.